Charles Robinson here with the Montana Chamber of Commerce.
Good afternoon. I'm Todd O'Hare with the Montana Chamber of Commerce, and this is the start of our weekly updates where we provide updates on the legislative session from the week past and then take a look ahead at some of the big issues that we see coming. And then we also provide an opportunity at the end of this so that if you have questions that you want to ask on any bill, whether it's a bill that we covered or rumors that you may have picked up, it provides a good opportunity for everyone to jump in and get some clarity and get some additional information on issues that may be forthcoming or may have just happened. So we'll be doing this on a weekly basis, covering as much as we possibly can. We have a big suite of bills this legislative session, probably going to be at least as large of a legislative session as we had in 2023. And it's going to cover a wide array of issues that are relevant to the business community.
That's right. We're here at the Montana State Fund today because we're just about to duck into a lunch to talk about some workers' comp issues that will be coming up in the session. And but wanted to give you a quick recap of what's been happening so far. In fact, even last week, as we were wrapping up business days at the Capitol, we had our lobbying team in hearing for House Bill 21, which is State Representative Larry Brewster's bill for a low-income housing tax credit, which the Chamber supported. And then we're also in to support some reforms to the TIF program last week. That was House Bill 19, and more TIF today even.
Yeah. So tax increment finance districts has been one of those perennial sort of issues, really important to the business community as it relates to developers and those folks that invest in TIF districts. And so there were 3 bills up today related to tax increment finance districts. And we largely went in opposition of 2, hoping that we could make some improvements to them, and in support of another one, all in an attempt to try to how do we tighten up TIFs and how things are defined in TIFs, such as blight, in an effort to make sure that we have this as an economic development tool going forward and still makes it a viable sort of a program. And so 3 hearings on that today. We'll see votes on that sometime in the next couple of weeks, I suppose, but we'll be working with the bill sponsor on some adjustments that we want to make to the bill. So I would say we're off to a start. I don't know if I go as far as saying it's a good start, but we're off to a start.
Yeah, getting started. Todd, I wanted to pull in John Iverson, who is Executive Director of the Treasure State Resource Industries Association. And John, tell us a little bit about some of the efforts to put some reforms in place for the MEPA, for Montana Environmental Procedures Act.
Thanks, Charles. The Held decision has kind of thrown everything up in the air. And so we're working with the Chamber and with a number of other groups to bring, right now it's packaged looks about 4 bills that are coming together. They're going to help address these problems. And so there's going to be more to come on this soon. But I know that that's a priority for Treasure State Resources Association and a number of other industries and associations as well. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's one of those issues that 1st of December, right? Talking about major reforms to MEPA, talking about issues around permitting as it relates to climate change, wasn't on our radar. It wasn't something that we were really working on. The Held decision threw all that into disarray. And so the good news is it happened ahead of a legislative session, which gives us an opportunity to react to that and try to see if there are some sort of parameters that we can put in place that allow for the development community and the industry folks to move ahead and still pass the SNP test of the Montana Supreme Court. So it's a big challenge, but we've got some great people working on it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Thanks, John. Well, one more thing to mention. We've got probably all employers be interested in this. Tomorrow, House Bill 131 is up for a hearing, and it will shorten the availability of unemployment insurance benefits from 24 weeks down to 20 weeks. And we look at this as a step toward keeping more people employed, frankly, because that tends to be a prod to re-enter the workforce for those that haven't yet. And so we'll be showing up to support that bill as well. And one other note, Todd's, you probably noticed the Senate seems to be moving a little slower than usual. the first days are usually fairly frantic, but there have been no Senate committee hearings this week.
Yeah, there's a lot of turmoil that happened there the first week of the legislative session. And we did our best to stay far, far away from all that sort of drama that was taking place. And we're in the process now of seeing how it is that we can work with what the shakeout of all that sort of the dust up was.
Yep.
And that's one of the things that I think we do really well is, making sure that we mind our own business and work with the hand that has been dealt to us as far as Senate leadership, committee leadership, and some of those sort of things. And so we're dealing with some of the big changes that we saw in the legislative leadership, well, not so much in the legislative leadership, but some of the composition, some of the committees on the Senate side of things. And so things are just really starting to gear up on the Senate side of things this week. The House got going last week. And so Senate leadership tells us that they think they can make up for some of the lost time that they lost there in that first week in a relatively short period of time.
That's great. We hope they do. And we've got to duck into this. Like I said, we're working on some more comp issues. We've got to run off to that. So this week we're going to say, hey, if you have some questions, you know how to reach us by phone and by email. And please reach out, and we'll be we'll have a little more time next week to dig into some issues and unpack things. So appreciate everyone joining in today, and call anytime, and we'll see you here next week.